So head to twitch.tv/GamesDoneQuick to watch our shows live. And speaking of live shows, we have a great one today here at the Bargain Bin. We're going to be showcasing a game known as Killer7. It's a classic cel-shaded first-person shooter, if memory serves me correct, where you control couple different personalities and get all this from the unique mind of Suda 51. Now, if you heard about them, they were the creators of one of my favorite franchises, No More Heroes. So you're going to get great characters, you're going to get a great story, and a great speedrun. And of course, while we're going to talk about the speedrun, we got Adrian VG over here to showcase it. I can't wait for this. Adrian, how are you doing today?
I'm doing well, thank you very much.
Good. I cannot wait for this.
Yeah, I've been excited. I couldn't think of anything else but the run today. So, introduce myself. I am Adrian VG, and in fact, I call myself a Suda 51 speedrunner. So I speedrun games directed by Suda 51 with their development team, Grasshopper Manufacture. In practice, that means I mostly run No More Heroes 1, and hey, this game. So Killer7, it's really hard to pin down in just a few words. It's a wonderfully surreal, socially and politically charged game, and hey, it's a heck of a good speedrun. And this game, just a little bit of context, Killer7 was part of the Capcom 5, a set of 5 exclusive games meant for the Nintendo GameCube. So of course, we are playing the Steam version on PC.
Obviously.
And I'm raring to go. There's a lot to talk about. This is more technical than you would think, and like I said, the plot is a little bit. There's a lot to it. I'm not sure how much I can delve into it, but when we're ready, I can count down.
Yeah, whenever you are ready, let's go.
All right. So in 3, 2, 1, let's jam. So I'll be running the normal difficulty. The lowest difficulty, we're actually running JP normal. So the one great thing about the PC remaster, it is by far the best and fastest version of this game. It is essentially one of the gold standards for any sort of remaster. Like, the load times are still so fast, they impress me to this day, and this version is now years old. But one thing about this version is that it lets you actually play in 4 languages by default. This is not the Japanese Steam version. This is the regular Steam version that you can buy on, well, the English Steam version. So I will show you what that entails. The big one is we get critical lock-on by default, which lets you lock onto character weak spots. But for anybody who's never seen Killer7 before, this is the crux. It's you could say it's sort of the halfway point between an action game and an adventure game. Suit himself said that was very much the intention for Grasshopper to go for more visually novel stuff, do more action stuff. So here's one bit showing off crit lock on. It works. And it did not work.
Oh no.
It's fine. It didn't cost the run. It's just when you think, oh, you can lock onto weak spots. Oh, that's a great thing. It's not always great, folks. Sometimes it will just not hit the right spot. Enemies will twist and, stumble. And it's actually a more recent thing, for me at least. Previously, we would mostly run on, I guess you could say the North American or international version. And that is actually, they actually did a number of very pragmatic changes. I think actually the international difficulty is, very balanced. So crit lock-on is not available in that, but thanks to the efforts of a Japanese runner, Yamannaru, shouts to Yamannaru, they show that crit lock-on is better, but it also is not a guaranteed time gain. So let me just stay quiet for a second. There we go. So you've already seen a little bit of third-person gameplay, first-person gameplay. We move in third-person on rails. I'm actually using a GameCube controller right here. The best controller, I say, for this game, the one it was made for. Using a Wii U adapter. And you can see me rolling. We call this dodge rolling for obvious reasons. Not every character has the roll. This is actually Con Smith. He has a super speed ability. You've seen me use it, I think, once or twice already. And I hate to say it, but one thing about this game, that's great about it though, You can skip every cutscene except the ones with this character, Kess Bloody Sunday. And even in the rematch for this game, we've spoken with a bit of the beta testers. And they said that, oh yeah, we planned on letting you skip those, but for the sake of keeping fidelity with the original GameCube version, we decided not to, because you couldn't skip them on GameCube either. And we're just like, oh, I can't help but respect that. Like, just why? If I look at chat. Why Kess? Well, who knows? Who knows? He ostensibly gives hints, but sometimes he either lies to you. At one point, he even says, just, haha, just kidding.
So I have to ask, because you said a second ago, you're playing this with the GameCube controller. Was it like a custom GameCube controller that has a USB port in there, or are you using like an adapter of sorts?
Oh, I'm using the official Wii U USB adapter. So fortunately... And I have to use a little program with it to make sure it works on Steam. But yeah, I'm using a regular GameCube controller, using the adapter. And this game was, like I said, it was a GameCube game. It did originally release on PS2 as well, but it's really a port. And in fact, that version is quite different. It's quite different. I cannot go on like right now. I could spend an hour talking about how different the PS2 version is. Like, in many ways, it feels like playing a different game. So, you could say, yes, this is a GameCube and PlayStation 2 game, but first and foremost, it is essentially a GameCube game. It was originally meant to be a GameCube game. They actually, according to some sources and some quotes from Suda51 himself, he said that they developed it for GameCube, and then partway through development, when they were almost basically done with the GameCube version, they said that they had to make a PS2 game, PS2 port. So, yeah, don't recommend the PS2 version unless you are, I don't know, that much of a hardcore fan where you really need to absorb every little bit of Killer7.
So what you're telling me right now is there is not, as of this moment, 7 versions, 7 different versions of Killer7?
Oh, I'm glad you asked, because there are, in fact, 7 official releases of this game, and I own them all. There are subtle version differences across the board, even between like the same console. So it originally released in Japan, so 2 versions: Japanese GameCube, Japanese PS2. Then it released, internationally into this North America as well as PAL regions. So North American GameCube, North American PS2, PAL GameCube, PAL PS2, and then topping it off with 7 is this version, the Steam version. And I own every single version.
I want to make this. I said I want to make this clear. I actually did not know that. That wasn't a setup for that.
Well, you gave me the perfect segue.
I appreciate that. I just want to make sure that everyone knows that wasn't like a bit that was planned.
This is a tricky room. This is the library. I don't know why these enemies are so annoyingly placed. So there's a little bit of a balance there between, you can see me, I try to kill one enemy using crit lock on, just shooting them in first person. But then you can see I try to dodge roll them. And dodge rolling is one of the big sort of pieces of tech to this game. I did say this earlier, not every character has a dodge roll per se. Like Khan here is, you'll see him a lot, he's very fast. And he does a roll. Not everybody rolls, but the way the sort of vocabulary worked out, we call it a dodge roll, regardless of what character it is. And here's another personality. We're switching into Kaede Smith. Poor Kaede, she's the only woman of the Killer7, and she doesn't really get her time to shine. We mainly use her for puzzle things. She can break down these barriers. I believe her power is called the Death Shower. Somebody in chat who remembers who's not running. Please correct me if I'm wrong, and then we have to switch back. So another technical bit. I dodge roll here when I see the camera shifting. There we go. So I'm predominantly using gamepad, except I'm using my mouse here for the quick panel. You can use mouse and keyboard for this full game. Dangerous. And you would think, well, there's aiming. Why don't I use mouse and keyboard all along? The catch being is that you can see these junctions, and we have this thing called instant enter, and you want instant enters. you basically hold the analog stick to get a certain like angle, you get it instantly. That can't happen when you're using a mouse, because obviously if your mouse is floating, they have a little bit of delay to make sure you're not accidentally entering a room. So the way it works out, it's actually pretty interesting. If it can be a little bit disorienting, is that we actually switch between gamepad and mouse and keyboard during a few select spots, and depending on runner preferences, some runners like doing certain bits with mouse and keyboard. In fact, we're getting up to a boss here that pretty much everyone uses with a mouse and keyboard. And yep, here we go, Kess. Oh, and for those who know the game, since we're playing in Japanese, in the international versions they garbled the speech there, but you can hear them ungarbled here. You can hear the broken sort of English. And you can even, oh, that was nice. And you can even swap the files in the Steam release to get those voices while you're playing in English. Oh, and I didn't even mention Ray Vaughn, chat. You know this game too well. You get a rave theme for just a few seconds on the stairs there, on the Vinculum Gate. And we're getting up to the first boss of Angel. We're switching to another personality, Garcian Smith. Oh, there's Travis Bell, don't mind him. He's one of the many remnant psyches. When you play this game, you know how great the characters are, especially Travis Bell.
Guitar player, right? I assume that's a guitar case?
Oh, it's an attaché case. He's not a guitar player. This is Garcian Smith.
Ah.
And they actually show it's in the case later. Much later, like literally before the credits later. And now we are Harmon Smith. He is, I'll say he's the leader of the Killer7. What the Killer7 is, I'll tell you about that later. But okay, so this part is one of the trickier spots. So I'm switching actually to my mouse and keyboard here. This is a fast strat that I'm going to try and do here. I'm well seasoned in it. I think I'll explain it after I do it, just because I need to focus right now. Good. Good. Okay, one more. Moving a little further, I don't trust my aim. Perfect fight.
Nice.
Got it. So normally what you're supposed to do is when she moves up her hand, she's meant to like shoot fire, and once she does that, you have a lot of time to sort of turn around and hit the faces on her back. But it was discovered, I forget who, I'm gonna assume it was Simna. Shout out to Simna, they're also in chat. But if you move a little quickly as she's moving up her arm, you actually have a very small window to shoot her. It's very tricky, but thanks to the power of keyboard and mouse, it's pretty much consistent. I've gotten that strat spot on. Back in the GameCube days, where we could only use a GameCube controller, like it was pretty hard to do with a GameCube pad, but there, mouse and keyboard, spot on. And that is the first chapter down. That's Angel. And if you're confused now, well, good. I have nothing clever. This is Killer7.
Someone in the chat asked a really good question earlier, and I missed who it was, but it was essentially, what's harder, to explain the game in 2 hours and 10 minutes, or to beat the game in 2 hours and 10 minutes?
Maybe to explain the game. I think anybody knows this game, and funnily enough, what this game does, it starts you off pretty much almost what I did now. I barely explain the plot, and the game barely explains the plot until, in fact, this next chapter, it's called Sunset in English, but it's called Setting Sun in Japan. And they actually start off this chapter, the second chapter of the game, mind you, with a cutscene telling you, okay, so it's telling you the main thing, in that there's like, previously there was sort of world peace, but that was only like a false world peace. There are these heaven smiles, terror for terror's sake, and those are the enemies we're fighting. And you saw that man in that green suit in that previous chapter. That is Kunlan. He is our main enemy, you could say. I'm sort of boiling it down to the most basic terms imaginable. There's so much more depth here that I simply could not get into. But we are playing as the Killer7, led by Harmon Smith. And I think it's almost cliche to say this, but one question that I always saw to ask about this game is, are you playing as 7 different people, or are you playing as one person with 7 personalities? And if you play this game, you know it's even more complicated than that. So yeah, ostensibly we are the Killer7. We are attempting to take care of the Heaven Smile threat. And there you go, and now we're playing the game.
I do like the anime, like the I guess cell shadedness of it is what I said earlier.
Oh yeah, the the color, especially the shadows. That's something No More Heroes did as well, like those sort of like harsh shadows and cell shading. This is Mass J. Smith. We're only using him for a bit here, but don't worry, you'll see him later. Okay, this is a bit of a tricky room. This is the waiting room. This is one of the hardest rooms in the game, or at least it used to be. So I'm going to focus here. Good. Gonna reload, don't trust myself. Okay, good room. So that room is crucial. I had to kill both of those enemies. One gave me a lot of blood, which you need for powers, and one, the micro smile, that yellow flying smile, it actually like awakens all of the personalities. And the way this game works out is that even though there are 7 personalities, you don't get access to them at all times. The game at the beginning of each chapter will give you only the ones mandatory to beat the game. Or sorry, mandatory to beat the chapter. But you can unlock other ones by killing enough enemies or by, hey, killing that micro smile. Oh, this is Susie. She's the head. She gives us rings to progress. Moving on now. Alas, I really wish I could delve more on these colorful cast of characters. They grow on you. They really do. Susie's one of my favorites.
Susie just reminds and it comes out, it's just very creepy, but also slightly adorable in a way too.
Yeah, I agree. Like, you'd be surprised at how much, like, a disembodied head with a very colorful backstory, how endearing you can find her. Okay. Oh, and for the record, there is a Killer 8. Just throwing that out there. It's a higher difficulty. It's very hard. But hey, Killer 8 is there. Tricky room. So you can't see Heaven Smiles by default. You need to scan them, and depending on the smile, I can dodge roll them without needing to scan them. It's a preference thing. It depends on how well you can see them against the lighting. Didn't get that.
Dangerous.
So early on, we're pretty heavy on con. You'd think that a character with Mach speed, you would use them a lot. And yes, we do use them a lot, but there are a few chapters where we don't use con at all. Oh, this is my favorite smile, the spiral smile. They're a sphere. Most enemies in this game, they're called Heaven Smiles. They're all called Heaven Smiles, but there are different types. And this is the only one that is, you could say, non-humanoid. Like, every other Heaven Smile is meant to be humanoid in some way, some more mutated than others. But the spiral smile, it isn't. It's just a sphere, and I love him for it. Oh, and this is my favorite puzzle of the game. I remembered, I told myself I need to tell chat this. This is my favorite puzzle in the game. You need to use the water ring to fill the vase, to cause the painting on the other side of the room to turn around, to give you a special engraving. I love it. I said before, this game is sort of meant to be the halfway point between an adventure and an action game. And you can even see some like sort of survival horror vibes. And I know a lot of people have told me they find this game like very much to be a scary game. And you can sort of see that, like the sort of creepy Heaven Smiles or sort of zombie-esque characters, like the sort of interesting, almost cramped control scheme. And even many of these camera angles are pretty off-kilter. in many ways, you can almost see like the DNA of like Resident Evil. And funnily enough, Shinji Mikami was the executive producer of this game, and executive producer.
I was going to ask about all these hallways. Are you controlling them, or is it more along the lines of you just controlling like when you get to like a door that's like you choose this or whatever?
So I don't have full analog movement. I am literally moving forward is literally just holding the A button.
Really?
And then I choose the junction. Yep.
Okay.
And that's what Suda really was wanting. It's fascinating to hear him talk about, or I guess to read the interviews, because you know, a lot of people are like, oh, this is a very it sort of breaks apart trends. And it really was meant to be in many ways sort of an accessibility. Suda was really wanting to appeal to visual novel audiences and getting them into action games, or transitioning into action games with the on-rail sort of thing. Because before this, he made visual novels, or not really. I guess that's sort of limited, but very much in that visual novel sort of adventure game mode. The Silver Case was the first game of Grasshopper Manufacturer, not Suda 51's first game, but the first game as Grasshopper Manufacturer, and that game is essentially the blueprint to this game. Okay, gonna focus here. And a lot of what's making this run clean is you getting clean angles like that. If I hold the upright notch, then I can get out of that room without dealing any of the enemies. Okay, and this is another room. Same here, if I get the right angles, I should be able to make it out without dying. And this is part of the reason why the GameCube controller is the best for this game. It's just the notches are just too good. So many strats in this game are based on just, do you remember what the notches are? Can you match the notches? Like, I can't tell if that was just purely just how it worked out for the speed run, for it to work like that. I forgot to mock speed, that's fine. Or if Suda was just that much on a higher level, where he was thinking, yes, movement will be that dependent on notches. And I would not be surprised if that was the case.
Suda makes a lot of like really cool runs, especially for speed runs too, from what I've seen from a lot of like what Suda's done.
Yeah, No More Heroes is a pretty fun run as well.
Yeah.
And that one I've run a million times. Okay, got our soul shell. We have to give those the currency to the gatekeeper. Have to go to these mystical vinculum gates. Basically meant to... It's in a way Kun Lan's way of just preventing us from moving on. They give us new enemy types and sort of mini-boss battles. Ray Vaughn, and we're going to roll upstairs very efficiently. Dangerous. Unskippable cutscene. And I'm going to blow anybody's minds. If you know Kess, if you look very closely at Kess's face, you can see a skull there. And I did not realize that consciously until literally like a couple months ago.
Oh my goodness, I can see it.
Yep, I know.
It's really hard to see. You know, once you notice it's there, it's just kind of always there.
Alas, they did not ever port this to Switch. I can catch a little bit of chat, which I find very strange, because this game, like I said, it's essentially a GameCube game, and you'd think a GameCube game would eventually, this remaster would wind up on a...
Yeah, especially because it was remastered on Steam.
And there were some rumors, I mean, was it rumors, or at least some like people like, hey, is this going to happen? This is going to happen after the PC port. And alas, they confirmed, no, Killer7 is not coming to Switch. There were even rumors, I remember back in the day, that, oh, there was like a potential Wii port to the game. And that turns out that was false. It turns out it was just Killer7 wound up on a Capcom document or something. But gosh, imagine how different the timeline would have been had we gotten Killer7 on the Wii.
Yeah, really. Also, I want to talk about the aiming of the guns. Like, I get how one's pointed to the side up, but the other side is... I'm trying to do this, actually, and I'm like, how can you get that accurate with that angle?
Yeah, every character, they're even ones who don't really get a lot of story content per se, they're all like richly textured and interesting in one way, as you've noticed how each character sort of holds a gun, or perhaps a knife, as we're going to see. It makes them very distinct. So even, we're going to churn into this next character, Kevin Smith, no relation to the film director. He has knives. And he doesn't talk, and yet he's one of the most interesting. He's pretty interesting, actually. There's some supplemental material outside the game, fills in a little bit more.
It's really interesting how they have a character named Kevin Smith who also doesn't talk.
Okay, so I just need to count here. One second. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 23, 24, 25, 26, 26, 27, 28. Okay, it's 30 shots. That's all I need. She actually scales. This is Julia Kasugi. She is a spy sent in to get a sort of a document called the Yakumo, which is sort of like, and there are spies trying to get it. Again, I can only touch so much of the story because there's just so much going on. But the way it works out here is that I only need to shoot her a certain amount of times because the game will count down after this. So you kind of get a nice break here. It's really nice how you get like at least a 30-second break. So, you know, get to stretch, get some water.
Hey, hydration is important.
It's funny because especially on Killer 8, like as a higher difficulty, if you try to use one of the characters with automatic shooting, like automatic guns, it actually makes the fight harder because she scales to it. So if you shoot, ironically, if you shoot slower, it's actually a lot easier.
Huh.
So that is actually Sunset 1, or Setting Sun, because we're playing in Japanese. So this is actually a 2-part chapter. And chat, I know anybody, any of the runners, anybody familiar with the run here knows what's coming up. So, you know, in speedrunning, there's a little bit of, luck and variance involved. And there's a little bit of it here in general. Like, for instance, enemy weak spots can change in different spots, but that's pretty minor. But we are getting up to a dice roll. And I don't mean like a figurative dice roll. I mean a literal dice roll.
Oh my God.
In order to progress in this game, you need to get snake eyes, two ones in this upcoming room. And it's genuinely, there are like 3 major bits of variance in this run that are so significant that, like, if a runner finishes a run, other people ask, okay, what was your dice roll? What was your dice roll? Like, that's how significant it is.
Wow.
You can waste up to 20 or 30 seconds. It rarely, but it happens. It happens. You don't want it to be the run that happens. So I'm going to focus a little bit on this room. It's in this floor. This is the Kaku building. This is actually one of the hardest parts of the game. Oh, that's good. Yeah, this is one of the hardest chapters. It's been defanged a bit over the years. But it's still pretty challenging. I think it's because, it's a sort of office building. This is meant to be a sort of an area of clandestine meetings and international spy and espionage, stuff of that nature. But it's just a regular sort of, just building, and there are a lot of tricky enemies, but also there are a lot of like corners like this. So I'm going to deliberately run into these enemies here. Entirely deliberate. It's just easier to just run into them than try and kill them. Get another micro smile. Like I said, micro smiles heal you as well as awaken all smiles, and we need that. Oh, sorry, awaken all smiths. And hey, second try.
Nice.
2 dice roll.
Good.
Oh, God, I had a run. I think it was like 2 weeks ago, or I think it was like 16, which was that hurt. So we're gonna do a sort of dodge roll with Coyote here. It's a very short one. But it is actually, this is faster, and I can't wait until we have to turn to another character and you can see how they climb stairs. So we're up to the 3rd floor, gonna focus here a little more. Gonna take it safe. Okay, so Coyote Smith, he is a South American thief, and because of that, he has the ability to jump really high. There we go. So I'm going to take a few more hits here. It's actually going to set up a Death Warp later that's faster, only on the PC version. So let me just make sure. Oh, okay. Guess that bad angle there. Okay, now we're going to turn back into Kevin Smith. And we have to solve another puzzle here. Have to get these in order. 1, 4, 3, 7. And I swear I have this number burned into my brain. So this
as you do.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I've actually not really tested, but I've seen what happens when you fail this sort of puzzle. There's literally a poster that gives you the solution, but if you do, it won't show you like the exact solution to do this, because you sort of reverse engineer it if you saw it, and failed it. So they sort of fake it by having them sort of run differently if you get the wrong one. Okay, hope you're ready for this. You see that backflip? Well, guess what? That is, in fact, the most efficient way to go downstairs. Okay, another quiet moment for me. This could work. Bit of a tricky strat where we want to get by with 1 invisibility. See, Kevin Smith, he's a mute, and he can also turn invisible to run past enemies. So I want to be able to get out of this room with only 1 invisibility, and yeah, clean.
Nice.
And that's another strat that Simna, another runner of this game, developed. And when I talk about this game, like, I will mention certain names quite often. So I'll talk about Simna, Sylvan Ed, or Nate, as we know him. Yamanaro, a Japanese runner. And also Negleria. I see Negleria in chat. Hello, you have been noticed. They were an early runner as well. And I've been speedrunning this game for about 10 years. So
wow.
I've been on and off. Obviously, like I haven't been straight running it nonstop for 10 years. But yeah, I've simply been around. I know all the peeps. There was some early speedrunning. Negleria was running this game before I was, and in fact, the reason why I even got on Twitch was to be like, oh hey, I know this. I actually know this game really well. I know some things. I can help you. We can work together. And rest was history. Yep, there was some stuff on SDA as well. There was this uncompleted segmented run that nonetheless was a pretty big inspiration to a lot of us, and even had a lot of the basic tech that you see used today, like dodge rolling. Good old Kess. If nothing else, this is like I always have a cup of water when I'm streaming, a bottle of water next to me too. So I usually just take a sip of water here. Yeah. So we are turning back into Mask. And this is something actually not a lot of people know. This is the backside smile, and they kind of want you to shoot it by hitting its sickles, but you can turn into Mask, do a level 2 charge shot, and that will kill the backside smile in one go. Not very well known. And even a dodge roll here. There's some dodge rolls that aren't faster, but for the most part, most characters have it fast. So here is a strat that's only faster on PC due to load times. And man, the load time, years later, I am still blown away by how fast the load times are in this version.
Right, yeah.
Like it barely takes time. You blink and it loads. So here's another bit that a lot of people might not realize. So you have to take this down as Mask. And Mask is a slow shooter, which makes this part normally pretty hard. Except, I'm going to turn back into Coyote. This is Jean de Paul. He's a spy. According to Iwazaru, he is very handsome, but that's beside the point. You can turn to any character here, and you can shoot the columns.
Nice.
And there's a reason why I've turned into Cody here. And they were playing Mahjong, but You know, I've never played Mahjong myself, but I'm pretty sure it doesn't result in people pulling guns out. But again, I don't play
Yeah,
it, so.
I've not played it either, so I don't know.
Moving up. So there's a reason why Coyote, in fact, why I had to take damage earlier. And that's because he dies the fastest.
Oh, okay.
So Kevin used to be who we swapped into, or at least I think some of us did for a bit, but was found that they still have to do their death animation, even like during that stylized screen. And Kevin has a very long death animation. But Coyote has a very short one, and we have to use him in the run. And this is possibly Coyote, this is Coyote Smith, the only woman of the group. This is her time to shine. Because we are coming across probably, I think it's easy to say, the most annoying boss in the game. I think this is Kurahashi and Akiba. They are zombie businessmen, and they shoot their brains at us.
By the way,
And
apparently...
so
Go ahead.
I was going to say, this requires Coyote's sniper rifle. So, actually, if you wouldn't mind, I'm just going to focus here for a bit.
Yeah, take your time.
1, 2, 3. You can shoot the vase here. 3, 4, 5. If you're playing well, you can do this with just reloading once. 5, 6, 7. Good. Okay, so I'm gonna wait just a split second. If you're a little too fast, it can actually repeat his cycle here. And he would well, make more brains. As a zombie businessman does. 3, 4, 5, 6. It's important to count bullets. 7, good. And can I shoot it? I did it! Oh! So there is a base over there. There's a base over there. You can shoot it. It's pointless, folks. You don't have to do it, but I love doing it. It's fun. And you just learned something today.
Also, why you gotta shoot the other one whose only job is just to adjust the other person's tie?
Well, I don't know. Why are they shooting their brains at me?
That's a good point. Yeah, I mean that's a fair point. I feel like if someone was shooting brains at me, then I'd probably shoot them back, even if they were trying to adjust their boss's tie.
Yeah, they are, I think, easy to say. Probably the most annoying, if not the most infamous boss. For the most part, yes, there is shooting gameplay, but it doesn't require too much precise shooting. This is one of the few parts that does. You can, in theory, beat Kurahashi and Akiba there with any character, and I've done it with every character. Even Mask, with his grenade launchers that reload like every shot. But it's not easy, so it's pretty much Coyote's moment to shine there. And we're coming up to my favorite chapter in the game. I think this is a fan favorite chapter. We get Mr. Andre Almeida. It's a shame we get to skip these cutscenes. Really a shame. He's the most famous character in the game. But this is, in Japanese, the chapter's called Clouds Man with an S, as opposed to Cloud Man. I think it's pragmatic to move the S there, Cloud Man. And yeah, he blew up a concert, which is bad, but he was also calling out for us. And Garcia and Smith, he'll talk to his informant, Christopher Mills here, talking about how someone is calling out to him. And Andre Almeida, he was wearing a Texas Bronco t-shirt, and in one of the best moments of logic in the game, he says, well, nobody wears a Texas Bronco t-shirt. Except in Texas. And so, we go to Texas.
Do we get to wear a Bronco t-shirt?
Alas, not one of our own, but you'll get to see it here.
Okay.
In fact, here, there he is himself. You can see a giant cardboard cutout. we even get one of my favorite smiles, the Almeida smile, which is a heaven smile wearing a Texas Bronco t-shirt. So plot-wise, this is one of my favorite chapters. Can't get into that too much, unfortunately. But in a speed run, it's actually one of my favorites. It's a nice break after the Kaku building, after Sunset 2. This one is much easier, but a lot of this chapter, you'll notice, is literally me just running. I just run past things. Like, I ran past like 2 or 3 enemies there, and they died. So we do need to kill some Almeida Smiles, and their shirt is the weak spot. We need to get some tokens here for a figurine machine. So I'm going to kill 2 of these guys here, and there we go. And we're actually going to do another strat that is only faster on the PC version. We have to go to a specific room that has a lot of Almeida Smiles. I go for 16 tokens, so I have to kill 16 enemies for the figurine machine coming up.
I like when you shoot an enemy, it turns into Skittles, or they turn into Skittles, I should say.
Oh yeah, it's very stylish. So I'm gonna put a language warning in here, but this is also one of my favorite rooms in the game. So language. That's a totally optional room, but it's packed with so many enemies, it's just faster to just...
Yeah.
With load times, thank you. Thanks to load times. Like I said, only faster on PC due to load times. It's just better to go that way. And there's a little bit of here, too. It's actually a little tricky to aim, just because they have like a sort of default pattern, and they're so bunched up. I find it a little tricky to aim. I've been trying to, like, not rely on lock-on so much. Like, I'm mostly aiming, just with my gamepad. I don't like switching to mouse and keyboard, like, mid-gameplay too much. I know some runners do. Yamanaru, like I said, the JP runner. Shout out to Yamanaru again. They switched quite a bit, and it was actually quite impressive, but it's just something that I couldn't do. So it's pretty interesting, player to player, who switches to keyboard and mouse when.
That's interesting. That really helps bring a nice concept and uniqueness to it, to where it's like every runner kind of has a different way, which means that if you don't, it basically tells me that if you can't figure out how to do something in a certain way, congratulations, you can switch to either controller or keyboard and mouse if it fits you a little bit better to get the stats correct still.
Another room. We need to get another figurine here. Alas, we only turned into Kaede for a bit. And fun fact here, shouts to Big Man Japan, who has found out a lot about this stuff, but this figurine here, it's possible to get in the figurine machine coming up, but it's a less than a 1% chance. To the point where I think he may have theorized that it was like a beta feature. I don't want to say that's entirely true because I'm doubting myself, but it is possible to get that from the figurine machine. And if you're going for like an absurd theoretical task sort of run, you could in theory try and get it in the figurine machine, but nobody in their right mind, I think, in the speedrun community right now would try and do that like in an actual run. I certainly wouldn't. And you can run into this duplicator. Fun fact. Found that, Nick Leary. Did you find that? That's the only duplicator you can run into. I don't know why. No, most of the time you're supposed to take care of the cores on them, but who knows?
Yeah.
Okay, we're switching back to con. This is another chapter that's pretty con heavy. And I'm gonna switch to my mouse very briefly here. So panels like this are only a couple, but it's faster to use your scroll wheel of all things.
Really?
Yeah, like it makes sense because you can, in theory, play this whole game with keyboard and mouse. So
yeah,
I think a lot of us were surprised though, like, oh wow, you can do that with keyboard and mouse. Makes the run that much more interesting.
Yeah.
So I'm just running past a bunch of other smiles. So this is the second of the big 3 luck-based things. We got dice roll first. They did speed up the figurine machine on PC. It's much faster. So I'm going to count here. I'm going to be quiet. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, Oh, still 8.
Ah.
Still 8. 9. 10. All right, 2 figurines. Not great. It did speed this up, so I'm less salty compared to, say, GameCube. It's just a slog on PS2. It's just so slow on PS2, and that's a slow versions. And this puzzle, so that's one of the ghosts here, the remnant psyches, the psychic ghosts. They tell us, oh, the password. Oh, I'm a little too far. The password, or sorry, the picture is the key. Go into your start menu, and that's how you open the door to get the last figurine. And why do we need the all these figurines? Because they open up the post office.
That's a weird way to open up a post office, but I mean...
Yeah, it's very much in that sort of a strange adventure game or survival horror sort of logic.
Dangerous.
Yeah, I did say Shinji Mikami worked on this game as an executive producer, though. And I don't want to say that, you know, oh, they were the ones who made sure that Resident Evil elements were here. But, you know, you can see that sort of Resident Evil DNA. And in fact, from my understanding, if I recall, what Mikami's role was mainly just to back up Suda, essentially being like, listen, I trust you, do what you want, I'll deal with Capcom. That's kind of my understanding of what Mikami's real role was, so I can't help but respect that.
Yeah, that's respectful in the sense of you do what you want. Yeah, I like that.
Okay, so this is actually a weird difference that's only in the JP when you're playing on PC, where you have to scroll through all those posters. They give you answers for this psychological test. And of course, how do you answer psychological tests? From posters. So fortunately, this is set. It doesn't matter what language you're playing, the answers are all set. And another set of numbers I have in my head, 1, 2, 3, 2, 1, 3, 3. So we are gonna see Mr. Andre Almeida, the CEO of First Life Inc., a strange corporation that seemingly came out of nowhere. He just managed to get the right sort of mail, the Yakumo in the mail, somehow. What is the Yakumo? Well, good question.
Dangerous.
If you play the game, you might not even know by the end of it. Okay, again, another spot where we run past enemies. I did tank an enemy there.
Dangerous.
And we are in this, well, in the desert now, and it turns out that big building, a piece of wood. This is Andre Almeida. The U.S. government has come in with a bunch of multicolored and very fashionable ambulances, and now we are going to fight an enhanced Heaven Smile Andre Almeida. So I'm going to need a little bit of silence here because this is a strat that requires a music. For me, it's a music cue. I think, well, in general, it's a music cue, but I have my own sort of way I beat things out. So I just need to get into the right position. I'm going to wait for the camera to shift once I'm in position, and then once the camera shifts, I'll then start counting beats to the music. Okay. Okay, just a little extra. I wasn't trusting myself there. And we have to shoot his afro? Question mark. And there you go. And this is actually something that I'm proud of. This is one of the first things I ever found, and it is in fact my very first YouTube video. It's still this strat we've been using for 10 years. I have it uploaded in like blurry 360p. I have no desire to re-record it in HD because it still works. Like I have to keep that.
Yeah, oh yeah.
And there we go. It's now raining blood. It's Almeida's blood.
I thought
I
it was
wish we
just
can get into it.
I thought it was just licorice.
I wish we can get into it more. I know chat knows how dense this game can be. His death was one of the more somber ones, and in fact, one of his disciples afterwards is sort of, wants to live on in his memory. And in contrast to that, we have Encounter. Well, we have Encounter 1. It's a 2-part chapter. And we have the main villain is Curtis Blackburn. And without getting too much into it, folks, he is a villain among villains. He's enough of a villain where it's enough for 7 other assassins who ostensibly aren't good people in and of themselves. Enough for 7 assassins to be like, no, this guy needs to be taken out. And we are going to take him out. And the pulsating moon.
I like how the moon has different colors per level.
Yeah, it's actually, that goes back all the way, if not the silver case earlier than that. The moon is a recurring image throughout Suda's work. And funnily enough, the silver case does it in reverse, or that is to say, Killer7 does it in reverse, in that you start off each chapter in Killer7 with the pulsating moon. But in the silver case, on the PS1, each chapter ended with the moon, as well as the title of a song. And in multicolors, no less. All right, just a few loads. We were in our trailer, and one thing about the trailer, we haven't heard it yet. There is screaming going on. I'm not going to tell you why, because, well, I don't think there's no definitive reason why. It's up to your imagination, your interpretation. But we haven't gotten a yeehaw yet. And I just want a yeehaw. Is that so much to ask? I want the disembodied voice in the trailer to just scream yeehaw. So we are now in an amusement park, Ichizaka Land. We hear Curtis is doing something here. We need to stop him. This is where the game's difficulty, again, sort of ramps up a bit. This is one of the harder chapters.
I mean, Jack could give us a yeehaw.
And I do find it interesting that not every character gets, cutscenes, gets characterization as much as others. For instance, Dan Smith, he gets a number of cutscenes. In fact, Curtis was, Curtis is Dan's, they have a history together. They work together, and then things, they went south.
Dangerous.
Oh, I lost my train of thought because the sound effects here are, we can't hear Khan's running sound effects, like the squeak of his shoes. That's okay.
Oh no.
Weird. It's not a bad, that's happened like once or twice, and I don't know what causes it because it's so rare. Like, see, here you can hear the squeak of his shoes, so.
Yeah.
Huff room, let me just. This chapter, like many chapters, has been defanged. Oh, didn't mean to do that. Okay, there we go. A little bit of a tricky dodge rolling there. You can dodge roll those smiles as well. The backside is a bit tricky. Set up to kill that micro. So that's a blue and red micro. Gives us a lot of blood, so that one does not awaken all the smiles. Sorry, all the smiths. I keep saying smiles instead of smiths. And yep, we have to go to the padlock. And who's in the chest? That's a weird way to phrase it. What's in the chest? But yes, it's a who. It's Susie. She's giving us the time ring, excuse me, or the past ring, as it's called in Japanese.
I thought they were gonna have Zelda in there.
Oh, that'd be a twist.
Just out of nowhere, Zelda appears.
Hey, Suda's a Zelda fan. He apparently got all the Koroks in Breath of the Wild. Like, who does that? Well,
Wow.
Suda does. Like, I think he mentioned that. I think he even tweeted about it. Like, oh, Suda, you dog. Yep, there we go. Just one puzzly bit. That's what we need, the time ring, the past ring. So we did get past the really hard part. The beginning of this area is pretty tricky. Not to say there aren't still pitfalls, but since we have blood, we use blood to heal, so we can manage a little more. There we go. Oh, I remember the thought before the glitch happened. So not every character, like I said, gets the same amount of plot focus, cutscenes, but there's a sort of subtle implication, I like to think, with each character starting off at a given chapter. So, for instance, say this chapter, well, we're in an amusement park for kids. And hey, we're starting off as the only kid of the Killer7, Con Smith. The previous chapter of Cloudman started off with Coyote Smith, and he is he's South American, and Almeida has sort of a lot of those South American, Brazilian sort of ideas with him. There's a little bit of that. Oh, curse you. A little bit of a muddy room, but what can you do? All right, and oh, whoa, don't make that mistake. Went a little past it. So now we get the more iconic moments in the game. I've turned into Mask Day Smith, and what's in the chest? An upgrade.
Da 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 da. We're now a wrestler. Oh wait, we already were.
But we're now a stronger wrestler, and our fashion sense has gone down. I don't know about you folks, but I don't think you can beat the original, nice guy in a suit. Match wrestler in a suit look. It's just
yeah. I like the cape.
Nice saddle. But we are stronger. We can shoot much faster. Oh, did I switch the ring yet? May have forgotten. I forgot, and I remember now. There we go. So I think in the files, Big Man Japan said this is referred to as Texas Mask. Mind you, we're not in Texas, but I don't know. It might be a name for a wrestler, or maybe this is meant to be in Texas. I try not to call... Ooh.
Isn't Killer7 set in like an alternate Earth or something like that?
Yeah, something like that. Here, I'm going to do a backup here.
So it could... Texas could be a lot bigger or a lot smaller than we realize, I mean...
Oh, true. Bit of a conundrum here, folks. I can recover. I'm out of blood, so... Yeah, but it is in an alternate world. It's meant to be sort of connected to these other games, albeit some of the connections. So previously, the previous major Grasshopper works were Flower, Sun, and Rain, as well as, well, first the Silver Case and Flower, Sun, and Rain. And this game has links to those. They've been sort of de-emphasized in some way. This game was actually meant to be Suda 51's international debut, so while it does have links to other games, they're sort of downplayed, and in many ways, it almost fits the tone of the game. It's like, well, here's a character that are released in a game that never released in America until like many years later. Oh, I got that. Nice. And even then, like, some people say, oh, it's meant to contradict. Like, they contradict each other, but a lot of Suda's works are sort of around, like information control, unreliable narrators, unreliable stories, like different characters seeing different sides of the story. Who has the right? So I don't know. Oh, I think it's very easy, and I've fallen this trap before, where you really want, strict, X event happened here, X event happened there in the timeline, but like Suda creates a tapestry, but also I'd like to call it like a jigsaw puzzle world. Lots of things sort of overlap. They seemingly don't fit, or maybe it's, a puzzle that looks similar. Like they're adjacent to each other, they overlap, but maybe they don't entirely fit, but that's kind of what makes it interesting,
Yeah.
All right, we're going into this fun house. It's kind of creepy. I don't know. I hear a voice telling me that I'm a disgrace, but...
That can't be true.
Yeah, who would do that? Anyway.
Yeah, really. Who would do such a thing?
So here's another bit. Blew my mind when I learned about it. I did not discover this. I think I found it on a YouTube video years ago. The cheese. You can blow it up in one hit. There you go. No need to shoot out there. Yeah, my blood route's a little weird. I might need to improvise here a little. That'll probably be good.
I will say that's one way to cut the cheese.
Oh.
I'm gonna walk away. I'm just gonna walk away after that. Just
Yep. This is like I said. If you could hear me, I have a water bottle. I always have a water bottle with me.
Yeah, hydration is important, y'all. Like, I also keep water behind me when I do these shows as well. Although mine's the size of my head.
Oh, it's quite a bit.
Yeah.
All right, coming up. Right now we're on the bridge, and these are the broken smiles. They are broken, and they're terrible. They, in theory, have a weak spot, but no one ever hits the weak spot because it's just it's almost impossible to hit. The only times I've hit it are like on emulator. I'm gonna kill him. Wanted that backup. So we just tank them as mask instead. And this is the one junction I do with mouse because we have targets here. Naturally, aiming is better with mouse. 1, 2, 3. Did I count that right? I did make a shot when I normally didn't. 4. This used to be a lot harder with gamepad, but since we have the option of mouse, I've gotten a lot cleaner with it. Okay. Oh, no. Ooh, sticky here. There we go. And this next room, we have a mini boss. There's a strat that's essentially frame perfect. We consider it a bonus strat, so to speak, because we never get it reliably, and I didn't here. So you can dodge roll. There's like a split moment where you have like I don't know if it's frame perfect per se. I think it's like a couple of frames. We never really, at least I never really figured out what it was. So you can save a little time there, but like I said, it's a bonus strat. It's not that much of a time saver. It works on GameCube as well. So I just did the basic strat. I mocked, and then I shot the ceramic smile in the heart. Here's the fallen angel. She's giving us the demon gun. This is Dan's gun. I find it weird that we don't have Dan unlocked though. In Encounter Part 1, you don't need Dan to beat it, which is a little strange, but
Dangerous.
yeah. In the ceramic room, it's possible to dodge roll, and it's faster that way if you can get the aim after that. Go. Oh, and I haven't even said it yet. So one great thing about the Steam remaster, besides it looking better than ever, higher resolution, lots of options, lots of quality of life options. One of them being you have the access to hotkeys. So in the GameCube release, you originally had to go into the menu to swap between personalities. But as you've been seeing for the past hour, I have not done that.
Yeah, I was going to ask about that in a little bit, but I'm glad you brought that up because I was really curious on how you were swapping them so fast.
So I am swapping. They are set to the number keys by default. I have the keys. Have them set to the keys on my numpad. But yeah, there's one hotkey for every character.
That's a nice feature. That's a really nice feature, actually.
And the neat part is that if you don't want to use it, you don't have to use it. You can just go into the menu. Yeah, it's the way, like I said, you can swap between keyboard and mouse and gamepad, but for the most part, they can't intermingle. For instance, I can't move forward with the A button on my gamepad and then move forward with my, choose junctions with the mouse. They're mostly separate, but hotkeys work at all times. Okay.
That's nice.
There's also a healing hotkey, and I have the healing hotkey mapped to my D-pad on the GameCube pad. So here we're getting a little serum. This is used to upgrade characters. For the most part, we don't need it, except we need it for just for this chapter. So I upgraded Mask. So you'll see that in action in just a few rooms. I just need to switch back to Con here. Yeah, the hotkeys are set to the. I think they're set to the numbers. I switched them because my live split hotkeys are set to numbers. Originally, I swapped them, then I realized, wait a minute, that doesn't make sense. I should change the thing that is new. So.
Oh, you don't know how many times, like before I got my Stream Deck up and running, I had all my hotkeys for speedrunning on my number pad, and I would always forget that. So in the middle of a run, I'm like, oh, I gotta do something. I'm like, I gotta do something, and I'm hitting the type and I'm hitting the numbers when I'm like skipping or resetting and stuff like that. and I don't realize it until I hit the next button and I look at my splits and I went, wait a second, what happened to my splits?
Yep. Yeah, in theory, you can change them to, anything, but it's logical for the numbers because, Killer7 or Killer8, you get an extra personality. You just one for the numbers from the menu. And there's a healing hotkey, which you can also use. That wasn't in the original game. We have it set to the D-pad. I forget whose idea. I'm going to assume it's either, Nate or Simna's. Because in third person, the D-pad has no function besides some movement, but you can use the analog stick for that. But since, you only can heal from there, there you go. It doesn't get in the way of anything. Free healing hotkey, even on the GameCube pad. Oh, stairs? We were raving, and now we're not raving. That's actually my ringtone. That is actually my cell phone ringtone, Rave On. And yes, it has confused people. Why is it a ringtone? Why is your ringtone a rave theme? It's like, listen, it's all connected. Why is there a rave theme on the stairs? Who knows? I have guesses, but again, I'll leave you guessing. So we're coming up to the boss of Encounter 1. This is part 1 of the chapter. Ayami Blackburn, she is an anime girl. So we are going to turn into Mask Daysmith. That's why we upgraded the mask, and you're going to see why. I guess I'll need to focus here, but I've done this a million times. I'm going to move up a bit. I have backups either way. So with a level 2 shot, even at base stats, I have level 4 power, but even at base stats, you can kill Ayame 1 here with one shot. Do a level 2 shot, she's dead regardless of your power, at least on the normal difficulty.
Eesh. Yeah.
If you really want to crutch with Ayame, or just the general Ayame strat is you use Mask and you upgrade at the very least your range, because you can shoot at her feet. It's even surprising how much even just the level 1 range helps you. So we're going to fight Ayame again. And same principles apply. We really want to shoot her feet. Yeah, the way it works is that you have your regular shot, you have a level 1 charge shot, which is double power, and then a level 2 charge shot, which is quadruple power compared to the regular shot. So as you can imagine, it's pretty hard.
Sounds like
Instant enter here, down right for that notch. So we're going to Curtis's house directly, and he's a reprehensible monster. You're going to see, his house is actually quite nice. Why do the villains have such good taste in stories? Who knows?
No, it's like that in No More Heroes too. That they had a lot of taste.
Oh yeah. He's like the first guy you start off with is like a detrimental. He's a count.
Yeah.
He's in a mansion.
And one of them a couple of them own baseball teams and sports teams.
Yeah. Okay, so thankfully, and we have Dan Smith here. It's it's his villain. We're gonna be Dan for a bit, and we get to use the demon gun, which is we got it last chapter. It's pretty much the most powerful weapon in the game. I think you could say mass grenades, but I think in terms of just a basic gun, this has so many shots. It's so strong. This pretty much puts Dan over the top, where you could probably ride by just Demon Gun Dan and not have any issues. And then if you upgrade him, then he's pretty much unstoppable.
I just like that name, Demon Gun Dan.
If we just did a collateral shot, that's one of Dan's special abilities. And we're going to use it later on a mini boss. Okay, good. This area is a little weird with spawns. Harmon's sniper rifle. Oh, touche, Nigler. Gonna dodge roll this guy right here.
And I assume the enemies are they're not RNG. They're just always in a pattern, or does that even matter for this game?
Yep, they're all set. At least when you first enter, let's say if you leave the room after killing them, or you sit there for a while, there are some respawns, but if you enter the rooms from the same way, then it's pretty much consistent. Entirely consistent, that is. There's a strange property with the camera, though. You can see the way the camera is. There's a lot of rooms have like a secondary angle, so to speak. Like they can be from the character's other side. And if you take a slightly different path, even within the same room, that camera angle can change. And I never really figured out why. Like it can even be 2 rooms away and the camera will change. That doesn't matter all the time, but in some rooms, the angle can really throw you off. So we're gonna do some more backflipping on stairs. But yes, enemies are consistent. If you always go through them the consistent ways and you deal with them the same ways, they will be the same. If you stand around and wait a bit, depending on the room, some will respawn, but because it's a speed run, yeah, we don't sit around.
I love how it's just at the beginning of that, it's one backflip and then like almost like 7 tricks into one at the last second. It's just so over the top, but it's so good.
Okay, we are in this fantastic. Now, this is one of my favorite tracks in the game. I haven't gushed about the soundtrack of this game yet, but chat's already done that, so good on you, chat.
Yeah.
Yeah, Masafumi Takada, just a legend if there was any legend. So I'm gonna go for a strat that at first I got it once, and I tried it once. It was a 1 in a million, and I didn't realize. Wait a minute, I couldn't get it ever again after that, except in another 1 in a million shots. And I got it on stream, so there we go, folks. That looks so simple, but for some reason I haven't figured out why. It's just not consistent. I went for it on a whim in a stream, and I didn't realize that. Oh yeah, that's a 1 in a million strat for like barely a second of time gain.
Wow.
So we're coming up to Ayame 2. And she's fortunately doesn't run around as much. This is another part that I make people struggle on, but once you know that mask is the key, then yeah, win. So shoot her feet. And there's another quirk here. Another one of my favorite discoveries. We're about to get to it. Okay, so when she's getting in front here, when it's all dark, as she's reloading, she is invincible. Do not shoot. She is only vulnerable when she shoots.
That's interesting.
Yeah, I came across this when I was just messing around on emulator, and then I realized, wait a minute, something isn't right here. I think that makes sense because, they want it to be a dramatic ending for the fight, so they don't want, while she's reloading to kill her as she's reloading. But in practice, that meant, especially in higher difficulty, you should be sitting there like holding your controller, just praying that she won't kill you before you kill her. But it turns out, nope, you can't kill her until she starts shooting herself.
Maybe it's just a sense of honorary, where it's everyone fires the bullets and someone goes, "I'm out," and then everyone stops while they get a chance to reload.
Must be. Okay, running past there. And he has a bunch of these clocks here. I like how this is more meant to be a puzzle thing. They want to insert a puzzle here, but I do like that it adds maybe some extra flavor to Purse's character. That maybe he just likes clocks. He's a clockmaker. Forget what they call those.
Let's say clockmaker until chat tells us otherwise.
Yeah. There's a word for it. It's not in my brain. Okay, and we're in the pool. It's another one, so I'm gonna hold right, and then I'm gonna press right after that.
I know this. Go ahead.
Oh, nothing. I was just saying my inputs.
Oh, okay. No, I was gonna say I know the clock keeper and stuff like that is not run it off, but like a clock keeper keeps time, therefore he would be a lord of time, a time lord. I know that's not what it means, but that's just.
I don't know. Curse as a time lord is a very scary idea.
Chat saying oh my gosh, horologist. I cannot say that word.
I don't think I've ever heard that word before. Maybe it wasn't the word I thought it was. Okay, more stepping up here. Dangerous. And chat, do you have a favorite Smith, favorite personality? Even if you've only seen this game for the last hour, do you have a favorite so far? See, Dan is my favorite, but I always say that's unfair because he actually gets cutscenes. So, I mean, duh, I would.
So far from what I've seen, I'm a fancy of Kevin, but I know not in here, and I've also made a Doctor Who reference, so I got to throw Matt Smith out there as well.
Oh, fair enough.
Yeah.
Okay. Heat ring, fire ring, localized, but called heat ring. So we are coming across the laser smile here, and he has a weak spot on him, but I just find it's very reliable just to use the collateral shot. The collateral shot is Dan's special ability. It kills. You use it to kill red cores on duplicators. I haven't done that yet because we've only seen yellow cores, and you can kill them with any bullet, besides grenades. But yeah, that killed most enemies in one hit, including mini bosses like that.
That is there's a lot of different answers. I see a lot of people say Mask, Coyote, Kevin. Someone said they like Susie the best.
CIK8A and
yeah. Kevin, Dan's in there.
Damn, all good. You see, there's no such thing as a wrong choice as your favorite Smith. And we are coming up to the third big pillar of luck here. So this is a quick draw duel with Curtis. And it's awful. Genuinely, you can lose on a bad roll here. Up to 50 seconds. Because it's all dependent on a pigeon. We'll begin when the bird flies. You can only shoot when the bird flies. Oh, he's doing his idle animation. That can happen sometimes. I'll dig it. So the first round is always a freebie.
I just like his arms extended like that. He's just chilling.
I also like his outfit, the very prominent V-neck.
Yes.
So it's an audio cue. Oh, it's also it moves when he coos. On normal difficulty, that's 1. It's not good. But a cue that I like using, especially in higher difficulties where you don't have the audio cue, is when you see the pigeon's head move up. 2, darn you. When you see the pigeon's head move up and hit the top of the red door behind him, that's when you know he's about to go up.
Yeah.
So I like having a visual cue. If anything, I rely on that more than the audio cue half the time, because on higher difficulties you don't have that. So that's 2. So 4 to 5 is average. 2, if it ended with this, would be good, ish. 3, okay, ish. 3, 4, curse you. 4 is average. I think my PB is 4. I think 4 is average. 5, really? You're doing this to me?
Oh no.
I guess this makes up for the some of the good luck we had earlier.
Oh goodness.
This pigeon is genuinely it's a run under. When you reach a high enough level of play, and I, as a 10-year runner, am that high level of play, well, what can you do?
Yeah. Like I've been saying for the past couple of shows, birds are jerks.
6. Oh, ouch. Oh well, we're having fun, folks. 6. Yeah, 6 is pretty bad. Oh well. There you go. Hey, we had fun. +1 Hatful Boyfriend reference. And there's Encounter down. We took care of the worst villain in the game, Curtis Blackburn. So not the greatest luck, but there you go. The pigeon is the worst. He's the real villain of the speedrun, that is.
Yeah.
I years ago on emulator, I literally did that fight like dozens of times just to see exactly what the roll is. I've gone a perfect, zero fake outs before, but it's rare. So 3 or 4 is generally an average. 4, maybe even 4 or 5. And with that on GameCube, this would be where we would swap to disc 2. But I think this is also a good time for a break.
Yep. So just go ahead and I guess we'll just go ahead and pause. Yep. So we're going to take a small little break here. This is a great time, chat, for you to get up, stretch, get all that taken care of. Don't worry, we'll be right back here in a little bit to finish off more of this. But hey, do not forget that your subs, Prime Gaming subs, get subs and bits cheered on the GDQ Twitch channel. Do so help support the GamesDoneQuick Hotfix. If you enjoy these daily speedrun shows, please consider subscribing to the channel and be great. Like I said, we'll take a small break here in a second. Good time to get some water, stretch, use the restroom. We'll be right back. All right, and welcome back to the Bargain Bin. I'm still your host, Midnight Vesper. Hey, do not forget that prize submissions are live for Awesome Games Done Quick 2024, which again will be January 14th through the 21st in Pittsburgh, PA. If you are crafty or have a unique gaming prize you would like to submit, head on over to GamesDoneQuick.com for more information, and submissions for that close January 1st. That's about 2 weeks from now, so make sure you get all that taken care of. Speaking of other things coming up, and join us February 17th and 18th for a celebration of Black speedrunning talent and Black joy, because unapologetically Black and Fast is back. Submissions are now open for UBAF through January 9th. Use the command !UBAF in chat for more information. And of course, if you missed out on any of the Hotfix shows from the past couple of days, or even some that may be coming up, be sure to check out our VODs at youtube.com/GamesDoneQuick. And hey, while you're there, be sure to press the like button on the video, like this video that you'll be watching on YouTube, and subscribe to our YouTube channel as well. Also, for those of you watching us on YouTube, head on over to twitch.tv/GamesDoneQuick to watch our shows live there. And of course, what we were talking about just a second ago with upcoming shows, we got a plethora of them coming throughout the week. Head on over to GamesDoneQuick.com/Hotfix to learn more about our shows and what else is coming up this weekend. There's some stuff in there that I personally cannot wait to see. But that's coming up later on this week. Let's focus on what we're working on right now, which is more Killer7. We went to what would essentially be Disc 2, so let's go ahead and send it on over to Adrian to continue the rest of the run.
Thank you very much. Okay, I'm still Adrian VG, and we're still running Killer7, essentially Disc 2, so let's just jump right into it. So, 3, 2, 1, let's jam. So the difficulty spikes a bit. I think this game has a bit of a, for a speed run, maybe even casually, it's hard to kind of separate it once you're a speedrunner. But this game has a pretty solid difficulty curve, and that it starts off reasonably easy enough. It starts ramping up into the mid-game, and this, I think, is where it really it's the peak of the game's difficulty. After that, though, the next few chapters are easier in comparison, thankfully. And our main villains here, they are the, we got a yeehaw, folks. We got the yeehaw.
Woohoo!
That's all I wanted. Thank you, interrupting yeehaw. So we are up to another one of the, I think, fan favorite chapters. So the main villains, they're assassinating. There was actually a report there. They assassinated a congressman. And who assassinated them? Well, the Handsome Men. They're sort of like the Super Sentai, or I guess the American equivalent. They're the Power Rangers, and they're part of underground comics, and they're trying to kill the author, Trevor Pearl Harbor, great name, because his comics are predicting crimes in the real world. And here we are in the Dominican Republic. So I might be a little bit more quiet on certain parts. There are actually some neat things, thanks to Crit Lock On, to make it a little easier, but it's pretty challenging even then. And there are a couple of safe strats I might use, just in case.
Totally like the person that was just chilling on the chair there a minute ago, just playing on a guitar.
Yeah, I think he is the only NPC, like actual regular living character, not a Heaven Smile at all, just a regular guy. I think he is the only one, like living, like just he's there, and
it did stand out. Like it legit did stand out.
Okay, so here's a unique thing. So we have to use Khan. So Khan is blind. Don't think I mentioned that unless you already could figure that out. You usually use audio cues here, but there is a special path here to get through the maze. Like it's sort of like in segments, and it sort of teleports you or switches out segments. So here I actually back up here. I want to kill this guy for blood. Then I back out. And then I finish off the maze. So it might not look impressive, but that's essentially a slightly different path for the maze. And this room we call it Roller Alley. It's technically not its real name, but it's infamous for ending runs. But thanks to the power of crit lock-on, one of the main reasons why crit lock-on actually is worthwhile, significantly defangs this room. So I'm just gonna kill a lot of enemies here. And the main reason being is you can hear that smile, this guy. The roller smile is one of the worst enemies in the game. Like if there's an enemy I think any of the speedrunners could remove, it's probably him.
But doesn't they smile? It's important to smile.
Listen, he might be smiling, but I'm not. Okay. There we go. Yeah, this is actually going pretty well, but
Dangerous.
I can't tell you how many runs I have lost in this chapter. And as part of this chapter, like I said, we're going to see the comic book artist Trevor Pearl Harbor, and we're collecting these color samples, so that's why I'm going to Iwazaru. Because he has the color samples. Oh yeah, this is Iwazaru. He's Iwazaru. Okay, going downstairs. And upcoming here is a cutscene that nobody in the States, and even possibly most people in Japan, probably wouldn't know. We're not going to watch the cutscene, of course, but it's the appearance of a character from a Suda 51 game, a pre-Grasshopper game called Moonlight Syndrome. The character is named Mithra. The game has yet to get released in English.
Oh,
There's
wow.
a fan translation in the works.
When was the game released if it's still in the works?
Yeah, it's a complicated thing. Come on. Okay, I'm gonna focus here though. I'll talk about it a bit more
All right,
here.
yeah.
So this is a duplicator, and like I said, with yellow cores, you can use regular shots. You don't need the collateral shot. The game slightly misleads you to think that you need collateral shot for every core. But nope, just the red ones. Yeah, so Moonlight Syndrome, it's part of the Twilight Syndrome games. They're some of the earliest games that Suda 51 worked on, pre-Grasshopper. It was with Human Entertainment. And they have yet to get translated into English in any way. Like I said, there is a fan translation in the works. And a character showed up in a cutscene earlier. Nobody really know who he is until they play the game. I mean, I vaguely know who he is, but I didn't want to spoil myself on Moonlight Syndrome because, hey, I could play it one day. But when this game released, this was Suda's international debut. They technically had one or two other small games released in the States internationally. Ooh, bad angle. But Killer7 was really meant to be their international debut, but it wasn't their first game. It still makes references to earlier games, and most of them, if not any of them, weren't translated. Like the Silver Case, the game I mentioned, Grasshopper Manufacturer's first game, only received a remaster, what was it, folks, in 2016? And then Flower, Sun, and Rain came out in 2011. My dates might be mixed up here. But point being is that a lot of the reference points were not translated, and still not all of them are.
Wow.
It's better now, believe me, but it was surreal being a... I played this game before No More Heroes. I played this game in the gap before No More Heroes released. So I've been around, folks. So it's very surreal to think of, gosh, they almost localized the games or released the games backwards.
Dangerous.
Did I hear that correctly? You said you played this game at the Gap?
Oh, well, I phrased it a little weirdly. So this game released in 2005, and No More Heroes, at least in the States, released in 2008. Meaning, like, there was a small gap between,
I thought you meant like
mean, like
the clothing store. I was like, when did they
Not the
start
store.
selling video games?
Not the store, no. But yeah, so I released it in that gap where there was literally only one, like in the States, really one Suda 51 game released. And of course, you know, it started all for me. I heard, oh, I loved Killer7. I was a 14-year-old just playing this niche game, and then, hey, he has another game coming out.
Yeah.
And then, of course, you know, like, just my life has never been the same. The double whammy of just Killer7 and No More Heroes in the span of a year changed my life. And we're getting into a harder room. I took a checkpoint earlier. It was a weird spot, but it'll make sense if I die. I hope not to die.
Dangerous.
But we are coming to Roller Hill. And this is a semi-new strat coming up here. So this is old. This has been done. This is sort of the new variant. So there are two enemies there, two spiral smiles. As long as I back roll, I'll be fine. It's when I'm leaving when things might not be fine. Come on. I want to go for a mock cancel here. Mock canceling is when you do a mock while getting hit by an enemy. It saves a bit of time. I'm not very good at it though, but I'm gonna go for it. I always do. Okay, so here I haven't failed it in a while, but let's see. And we got it.
Nice.
So there are two enemies there. Khan dies in 2 hits. So as you can imagine, I don't want to get hit there. So the way it works that you want to get on a specific spot, it's not too fiddly. It's not, you know what, you must be at these coordinates, but you want to step right there, around there, and then when the enemies are coming around the corner, the way you sort of curve around in the junction, like you don't get hit. But I did I went to a Harmon room. I'm sure the runners here were wondering, Adrian, why did you do that? It's like, that's because it set up a better angle for when I would return. And these are the flower smiles. They're very neat. They're very colorful. And here's a setup for this. It's so I don't have to go all the way around the room. I use the flower pots to the right as a sort of cue. And then I line up the shot. It was Nate Gliria who came up with that strat, but I found the setup. So, bit of a twofer here. And now we are coming across, this part's actually pretty close. Every run, it feels like it gets very close. We're gonna fight the Handsome Men. We're at Broadway. We're gonna be on Broadway, because that's where fights happen. But essentially, we are doing duels with the Handsome Men.
First matchup,
including even Harmon Smith.
versus Handsome Red.
So there's a sort of mirror match here. You can see. It seems like they're even using the same animations. So from Broadway. So that's an easy one. So we want to make sure we win, as like the most fights, obviously.
Yeah.
Next matchup, Con Smith versus Handsome White Pearl.
Okay. Weird. Come on, my. Can be actually pretty tricky because of the recoil. Okay, that's fine. Yeah, 1-1. We still have 6 more.
Our third
Yeah.
matchup is Coyote Smith versus Handsome Gold.
Okay, he has the weak spot though. It's right there.
Nice.
Fourth matchup, Coyote Smith versus Handsome White
Oh, I think I have time for some water. Wait, 1 sec. I'm sorry. I accidentally hit the C stick. Ugh.
Oh.
It's fine though. We're fine. Poor Coyote though.
Kevin's
It's just adding extra tension to the whole thing. That's the more important.
Okay, and dead is dead a color? It is now. I think I looked. They gave you the hex codes earlier. I think it's supposed to be like radical red or something. Not maybe not even that. But Kevin. See, the thing about Kevin, like I said earlier, he has such a long death animation that dying here, you have to wait for him to die.
sixth matchup, Dan Smith versus Handsome Blue.
But Dan is the man, and he has the kill with the headshot. See, they even use the same death animations, which I love.
Yeah.
Mask Smith.
Okay, so this is pretty close. We need to really win this. Thankfully, we have upgraded mask here, so this shouldn't be an issue. Oh. I don't think this is it, folks.
Oh. Oh no.
But when the world needed him most, alien mask showed up. Seriously, he looks like an alien. That's not the
He
official
does,
name.
yeah.
Who's the strongest?
It just... I know it's probably a wrestling reference, but alien masks, so, folks, I'm sorry. The purple does not do it for me. Not on mask. And I think somebody in chat may have been seeing what I've been doing because, folks, this is a scripted fight. It's... Every single fight is the same. Every character that dies is the same. Every character that wins is the same. Yep. There you go.
Oh, okay.
There you have it. It has to be done. It has to be done, folks. I'm sorry. Thank you for indulging with me, and thank you, chat, for playing along.
I love when chat is in with the bit and they just go with it.
Yep. So Alter Ego, one of the harder chapters. After this is Smile, and of course we're fighting Heaven Smiles. Have to have a chapter named Smile. This is a much easier chapter. This is a pretty consistent chapter. There's only really one hard part to it. It's the mini boss at the end. And of course, this is where the plot really goes down. That's an awkward way to phrase it. This is where things really go down. So we get a regular colored moon.
Oh, I was going to say it was clear colored, but that also works.
Okay, go to see Samantha again and never again. I think one of the more famous scenes, like the chess scenes. Right there. More screaming, don't mind him. Whoever he is. So we are going to the Union Hotel. We're trying to look for a guy named Matsukin. And he showed up earlier. This game, I think saying goes all over the place is maybe an improper way of going through to say it. That sounds more derogatory, but this game touches on a bunch of different things. So we're sort of coming back to the earlier plot after we did a few other missions. So that cutscene had a character that from Flower, Sun, and Rain, Edo McAllister, and the game had not been released in English until a couple years later. I played it, of course, it's in English. English now. But there you go. So we're turning into Kaede a bit. And this chapter is a hotel. Hotels and motels show up quite a bit in Suda 51's works. So we get to use a little bit of each smile, a little bit of each Smith, that is. Some more than others, but is what it is. There we go, grab that. Turn into Coyote. And fitting for the Killer7, Union Hotel has 7 main floors.
Oh, interesting.
I use my mouse very quickly for this. There we go. I'm trying to find where mouse works a little better for me. Yeah, Yamanari was using mouse quite a bit more, and he briefly had the record. I was able to take it back, but it was definitely not easy. There we go. So I scanned the wall there because laser smiles here, they're regular enemies now. They only shoot after you scan them. Therefore, if you just scan them through the wall, because you can scan them through the wall, they will just die.
Oh, okay.
Killer7, don't play the remake, it's bad. You might be thinking of No More Heroes. Yeah, there's a PS3 re-release of No More Heroes, which you do not want to play.
Oh, really? I didn't know that.
Yeah, it's called Heroes Paradise. I, of course, own every version, but I'm the Suda 51 guy. I'm allowed to do that. This game has, this is the PC remaster. It was tuned in later. This is the best version of the game. It's like a spot-on version. It's 98% perfect. I would say this version is. Like, and the 2%, you have to basically be me or a speedrunner. Know what the differences are. And there are some that I'm not even sure if they're real or if my brain made them up, or like anecdotal stuff, like if a character moves slightly faster, if a bullet moves slightly faster in a scene. But this is a spot on. Like, I'm using a GameCube controller now through an adapter, and like I can switch back and forth between this game and GameCube.
Were you able? I actually don't remember this, but I'm curious since we're playing in 16:9. Were you able to play 16:9 on the GameCube version of this, or did they have to?
Weren't.
Okay, so they basically had to build that from the ground up, so to say, to get the remaster going out there.
Yeah, that's you can actually, if you want to, you can. Sorry, I just had to make sure with the audio. You can actually play the game in 4:3 if you want here. They give you the option to do that. You can.
Oh, good.
You can press one of the function keys, and you can play this game. If you wanted to play this game exactly like the GameCube version, you could. If you have an adapter, like I do, if you want to play in 16:9, if you don't want to use any of the hotkeys, you don't have to. You can play this game exactly like the GameCube version, but better. It's just unbelievably spot on. And I didn't even talk about that room because I was just gushing about the PC. I shot the wall. I did a level 5 shot to destroy the duplicator. You couldn't see him, but I shot him through the wall. But yeah, just spot on port. You can't go wrong with the PC version, really. There are some blemishes, but I think one of them that's pretty obvious is that the FMVs, there are some FMVs to this game. Those aren't looking very nice, but that's kind of just a common issue with remasters. Like, I'm thinking of another GameCube remaster, the Resident Evil remake. You can shoot any part of the wire here, by the way. I'm thinking of the Resident Evil remake remaster, which is a good remaster too. That's a very respectable remaster, another great one. Except all of the FMVs are pretty gnarly looking. But, you know, that's just kind of how it is. I get why they don't upscale them. There are some people who make some fan-made ones, but I never really found any of their upscales to be very appealing. So I don't really use those mods myself. And this chapter, like I said, it's a nice break. I'm just running. I'm just walking. You get a nice chapter after the very difficult alter ego. Yeah, I'm surprised how many people have told me about the PS2 version is there first. So maybe it's not that surprising because the PS2, well, it's the PS2. Everyone and their grandfather and his grandfather probably owned one. I'm not sure how well they sold, relatively speaking. It's a niche game, but yeah, who knows? Also, I want to point out that of all chapters, like aesthetically, like this is one of my favorites, and I can't believe I'm saying that about Hotel. But just like the strong use of color in a game that already uses strong use of color, it's just next level. Okay, we're back flipping on the stairs, folks. I really hope they motion captured that. I feel like they didn't, but let's just say they did. Yeah, I began this run earlier saying, oh yeah, this game is the Capcom 5. 5 exclusive games for the GameCube. And we're playing the PC version. Yeah, no, what? Beautiful Joe released on PS2. This game is PS2 and PC. RE4 is on every system known to man, and probably some not known to man yet. PN03 is another game, but that's stuck on the GameCube, and I don't think anybody cares about that. And then the last one was a Dead Phoenix, never got released.
I still want. I would love a remaster or Steam release of Beautiful Joe 1 and 2.
Oh, believe me. Oh, I've been praying. Give me Beautiful Joe 3 while you're at it too.
Yeah, really, yeah.
I play those games to death in high school.
There was so much fun and cartoonish and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm. Okay. That was close. That was the timer Smile. This is the only really difficult part of Smile 1. You have to take care of all the spots on him. And yeah, once there's one more spot, he runs at you. I have a backup strat there where I would just, I face the door. That way, if things go south, things almost went south there. But if things go south, I don't need to do any input besides just run like mad. And this cutscene is great. We're looking for Matsukin, and they basically tell us, yeah, we already took care of him. He's elsewhere. And when you find the truth, please come again. Good day. Essentially, the equivalent of saying your princess is in another castle. And hey, we got the second EHA of the run, so pretty happy.
Yeehaw!
Yeah, timer smile. A lot of people use Kaede for the timer smile for obvious reasons. You want to keep your distance, but Kevin with his knives, he has perfect waver and no reload. So and the way the route worked out, we were using him anyway, so it just works out there. And this is Smile 2. We're going to Coburn Elementary. This school has a dark secret. And it's funny for it to be, not funny, but it's interesting that for the school to be a setting like this. Because Suda 51, like I said, their first games were the Syndrome games. And those were, mysteries set in schools. So it's kind of a callback to that. We do some shooty with Kaede here. And alas, she got her moment for like 30 seconds. So we switch here.
Hey, everyone gets their moment. That's important.
So the way this chapter normally works out, we're trying to find Matsukin, make contact with him, find the truth that we've been being led to here. And there are normally too far. Bad aim on my part. There are normally tapes that you need to pick up. You need to pick up a tape recorder as well. Aim. See, there's a tape right there. They give us passwords. You don't need to listen to them. You can just ignore them. There we go. You can normally, the game wants you to listen to them. They're great tapes. You hear an FBI agent investigating the school about some mysterious kid called Amir Parkreiner involved in this. But I have the passwords written down. We'll get to those later. But yeah, you're normally supposed to be looking for tapes here, and we don't need them. So here's another large duplicator. Once you have Alien Mask here, you can take care of them with a level 5 shot. So I did this in the previous chapter. I'm barely out of sight. But here, I'm right in front of it. There you go. Works out wonderfully. The blood route is pretty efficient here. And this is the last time we'll be hearing Ray-Ban, folks. I'm not going to milk it out because we're speedrunning. But I hope you... Technically, we have one more after the boss fight. Mini-boss fight. So upcoming here, we have one of my personal favorite smiles. Not necessarily because of its design, but because it has one of the greatest names of any enemy. It's called the Galactic Tomahawk Smile.
That's a name.
That is a name indeed.
I like it.
Also, I think there's like we didn't watch it or come close to it. There's like a bit in the game where they say, oh yeah, the Vinculum gates that we're in now, they're guarded by queens. So, well, we're about to meet a queen, I suppose. What once Kess, in his unskippable goodness, lets us free.
Yes.
So, alas, since we're playing in Japanese, well, we don't get the name in. Oh, wait. But there you go. It's Galactic Tomahawk Smile. So, level 2 shot, level 1 shot, regular shot. I need to use only 3 vials because I need to save 3 vials for a collateral shot later. So here's another tape. Like I said, we don't need it, but we have to pick it up just so people exit the room. So last moment of Rave On, folks. Please savor it.
Oh, we will.
Swoosh. Alas, this is one of the best cutscenes in the game. Anybody who's played this game, even people who haven't played this game. The Benjamin Keane cutscene, Russian roulette, but we can't watch it. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. He shows up for one scene, and it's one of the best in the game.
That's just more reason for people to pick up and play the game.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So now we're getting into passwords. And so one of the differences with when they localize it, they change the passwords. So I actually have the passwords for the North American release memorized. I don't quite have them memorized for the JP version yet, because I've only started really running the JP language fairly recently. Oh, you can use your scroll wheel here, by the way. Easy puzzle. And when we get to the terminal, where we put in a lot more information, a lot of those are different. And another thing is that I don't have the order memorized as well. So even if I did know them by heart, I'd have to memorize the order. It's easy in English because, of course, I can read it. I can read the question. Yeah. So here it's like it's a matter of 1, I have to learn the order, and 2, I have to learn the different passwords. Some of them I know by heart. I have a version difference document on speedrun.com, and I have other resources, some of which are pretty outdated and I need to, clean up. But anyway, there's a version difference document on speedrun.com that is pretty complete. I still need to clean that up too. And it does outline many of the version differences. I'm playing in Japanese because of its version differences that wind up being faster, but here we go. So this is interesting. This is one of the few moments where you can use your mouse and gamepad. So I'm going to put in the passwords here. I have to use my mouse to do this. I can't type on my keyboard. But what I'm doing here is I'm just inputting with my mouse, and I press start to get to enter on my gamepad. This is one of the few moments where you can sort of overlap and use them for input at the same time.
That's really interesting.
That's a changed password. It's Alabama here. He's born in Alabama. Amir Parkland is born in Alabama. In localization. His parents have the same name, though. Like I said, I have a cheat sheet. It's actually pretty tricky to do this cleanly. Not gonna lie. Catherine, good name. They changed his death date in localization. It's exactly 10 years in Japanese. But, okay, here's the big one. It might look weird, but what is his social security code? It's elbow here. They changed it to eagle in the North American release because elbow, if we had 10 hours, I could not tell you what elbow is supposed to mean. But it's a pretty strong reference to his previous games. And the fact that elbow shows up basically recontextualizes the whole game, depending on how far you want to take it. But even though this game does have a lot of references that they keep in, characters show up for like a second or two, like that's such a big one that I get why they scrubbed that. They turned it into eagle because it's meant to be, the citizen code, the social security code of some sort of the chosen one, so to speak. What that's supposed to entail is, again, if we had an hour, I still wouldn't have time. But they changed it to eagle in the localization. In fact, if you play in French and German, it translates eagle into French and German. But so, anyway, that's a pragmatic choice.
Okay.
It's out of context, that looks strange, but if you have played Flower, Sun, and Rain or the Silver Case, games which had not released when this game first released in English, well, there you go. But I get it. It's too big of a reference to keep in. I don't blame them at all. I thought it was pretty smart. And this is the last kiss. So what are we doing now? We're meeting Matsukin. He's telling us some deep, dark secret about the United States. If you play this game, you know it. I will not get into it, unfortunately. Don't have the time. But we need to then deal with Greg Nightmare, he's sort of the... He's a political figure. He's hanging right there. Hey, Greg.
It's so weird
And-
when characters are named Greg because my name IRL is Greg. And
Oh. Well, this is Greg Nightmare, so I hope you're not a nightmare.
I don't think
Oh.
so.
Oh, you're a nice guy.
Oh, it seems fine.
And there we go. So ideally, you can get a perfect fight in 4 hits, but you gotta knock his pants off, and then you can collateral shot his weak spot there. You don't have to collateral shot it, but it saves time.
And that's just a weak spot.
Yes. And here is where the game, where the Killer7 are killed off. There is one bit, though. I have to keep in mind, every character dies faster, except Kaede, who dies faster. Sorry. Every character dies faster falling forward, except Kaede. There we go. Kaede, you want to make sure she falls backwards, because her death animation is faster when she falls back. So alas, we cannot do anything to these guys. None of us are strong enough to take that golden gun there. So we have to wait.
That's like a one-hit KO.
Yep. No one's strong enough. It's quite a sad scene to see all your characters die. This is a moment where you fortunately do switch between them. The game, switches between them.
Yeah, yeah.
For you, if you normally die to a regular enemy, then it takes you back to a checkpoint and you need to revive them. But here, not so much. And here we go. We are powerful enough to take the golden gun. Few inputs here. Turn around, lock on, shoot, let go. One shot, all it takes to kill Greg Nightmare for good. Yeah, it's a very sad scene. And that's Smile 2 down. Technically, it's also we're returning to the Union Hotel. Technically, the game doesn't put, a Smile Part 2, but for the sake of convenience, we tend to call it Smile 3. And I hate to say it, but this is where the run functionally is over.
Oh.
All that's left is just cutscenes, heavy plot revelations. It's mind-blowing stuff once you get into this game. Once you play it yourself, hey, Edo, see you later. But alas, in a speed run, this is where things you're just holding A, you're going to cutscene, then you're walking to another cutscene. It's a shame, but I don't know. We can't end the run there. We need to see the credits. We need to get to the real ending.
Yeah.
But this is sort of like I don't know, you get to relax a bit. I don't know, is it better if a speed run has a slow beginning, or is it better if a speed run has a slow ending?
I think
Which is worse?
I think slow ending, especially if you're on PB or world record pace. You get that moment just to kind of breathe and accept it, kind of.
Fair.
Yeah, but it's all the stress is gone. You're just like, all right, now I get to kind of relax and finish this off. I don't know. What does chat think?
Happened to me the couple of weeks ago. I was beating Yamanari's run, and it's like, yeah, well, I always say it's not over till it's over, but you pretty much know it's over by the time you leave the gymnasium there after you take care of Greg Nightmare. So, But yeah, the atmosphere here is good. Yeah, it's great atmosphere. Just in a speed run, alas, you're not playing for atmosphere.
Right, yeah.
But yeah, there's a reason why, or the way it works out, why Union Hotel has 7 floors. Well, it's for the Killer7.
Just kind of like in No More Heroes, kind of the same plot almost. We have 13 baddies, or I think is what it is.
I've got to be number 1 at top 10.
Yeah, a top, yeah.
I think this might be one of my favorite floors. The sort of the use of red, the red gradients. Oh, so good. Although I am fond of the turquoise floor where that has the green, not the green, that has pink plants.
I really like that red though, yeah.
Yeah, see this one. Look at that, pink plants there.
Ooh, that is a nice color scheme.
Yeah, like I said, of all locations in a game like this, one of my favorites is a hotel.
Yeah,
just visually.
Yeah,
it's striking, especially with that blood there when you walking through, experiencing these flashbacks. Another pink plant. So after this, there is an epilogue. It's a lion. There's a marginally more gameplay there, I suppose.
Guess you want to go do it? I don't know.
Yeah, Chad, I hope you all enjoyed this game. We have time to talk. We have a lot of time to talk. I really wish I could get into more of the plot details, but I don't want to. I don't want to really shortchange it. I feel like I've been shortchanging it, even though, obviously I'm speedrunning it, and this is a pretty technical speedrun. It's not the hardest speedrun. It's ultimately still an on-rails game, but for an on-rails game, there's a good amount of tech.
Sometimes you can be surprised where it's like a game that may look simple on paper like that can be an incredibly difficult just because of so many other factors that go into it.
Mm-hmm.
And of course, we do have coming up after this, we are going to show some fun little things about it, correct?
Yes, I have a few glitches to show off.
Yeah, so that'll be fun to showcase.
Okay, here's a new floor. I guess technically there's a spoiler. I'm not going to say what it is. I'll leave it to those in chat who know, and I won't say too much. I'll just leave you all to interpret it as it is. I won't affect your interpretation whether you know this game or you don't know this game, seeing it for the first time. We're going up to the roof. We see someone who looks kind of similar to us. It's a full moon.
Oh, they got a third eye.
So again, I'll just leave it all to chat. I'll leave it to exist in the moment.
No, it wasn't me. It can't be. It's all a misunderstanding.
So you can take that as you will. And this is, I think, one of the top compositions for Masafumi Takata, the credits here, Dissociative Identity.
Yeah.
And
DID, yeah.
So there, like I said, one more chapter. And there's actually 2 sets of credits here. On the original version, there was only 1. But they want to thank the remaster staff because, of course, they deserve to be thanked. They deserve to be credited. That's how it is.
Yeah.
And you would think that's an extra, about, I think, 2 minutes of credits. And you would think that, oh, that's 2 minutes of credits. That must make this chapter slower compared to GameCube. So here's the fun thing. The load times are so fast, with just Smile 3 alone, just taking Smile 3 alone, it's so fast that even with an entire extra credit sequence, it's still faster on PC by a few seconds because the load times are that much faster.
Wow.
So it's just, I love it. That's how I can never get over just how good the load times are. But man, this is
It's still
such a
really
good game.
it's still really interesting, even for run, and we still have to like go through the credits, and that's also really nice that you do actually kind of still get to like give credit, to those who worked on it while the run's going on.
Yeah, I mean, I can't be angry about the unskippable credits because, well, here's the music. And no, Negleria, I cannot do a Heaven Smile lap, alas. My voice acting work is not quite at that level yet. So the famous Heaven Smile lap, as well as Kunlun, is done by the late Joe La La. They passed away, unfortunately, a few years ago. But yeah, they give all those laughs that you hear, those unsettling laughs, that is, yeah, Joe La La, the late Joe La La. And yep, first credits down. And there's one more. Yeah, I've seen this credit sequence just so many times. Yeah, I've been speedrunning this game for like 10 years. I only started streaming, for 10 years. I've been
right.
So, yeah, I mean, Negleria was, I saw Negleria speedrunning this game. That's how I really got into speedrunning. But I had been playing the game. I've been wanting to push the game in my own ways. Like, I did what was called a pacifist run, which isn't the best name, but it was essentially kill as few enemies as possible. I did that before I could record or stream, where I kill as few enemies as possible. I've done that now, and again, on PC with a better route. I've done solo character runs on GameCube, not PC, because I don't really want to repeat that quite yet. And I've even done this game blindfolded, which took about 4 hours.
Wow.
So, and surprisingly, they're only, appropriately though, only 7 bits that were impossible to do blindfolded, which is impressive and fitting.
Yeah, I'd say. I've been
I've
been doing speedrunning for about a decade, and I've not once done a blindfolded. I keep on telling myself to find one where I'm like, no, that's the blindfolded, but I've not found one yet where I'm like, I'm gonna try that.
Right. It helps that this game is on rails. Like No More Heroes 1, you can do the bosses in No More Heroes 1 blindfolded. You can't do the levels blindfolded in No More Heroes. That's just impossible. Steering wheel run. Oh, if only. I've always wanted to do a chainsaw, like the RE4 chainsaw controller thing. But I don't own one of those, and I don't want to spend however much it takes. I also want to do one with a Guitar Hero controller and a DDR pad, but those aren't really high priorities. Like, yeah, they'd be neat, but I'm not feeling quite that eclectic yet. But
right.
Soon. And yeah, last chapter. And this game, there are multiple, some have had more than one part to it, but yes, can't be Killer7 without a real 7th chapter. This is just an epilogue. This is like a 6-minute split. Like my PB for this is like a 5:39. It's a pretty short one. We are going to be Garcian, sort of. Except we are in a nice purple suit. And our eyes glow green for reasons I will let you determine that on your own or perhaps play the game. So we are on Battleship Island, which, fun fact, is a real place. This is based on a real place, Battleship Island here.
Oh, really?
Yeah, they changed the location in real life, as one says. It takes place in, it's located south of Okinawa. It's closer to Japan. But in this game, they changed the location to somewhere in the Pacific. But yeah, Battleship Island. This island is a real place. I'm not sure if they do tours on it. I feel like, I don't know. I'm not even sure what I feel like now.
That'd be interesting.
Yeah, so I say this chapter has marginally more input than before. You can run into all the enemies here. You can hear enemies like laughing. Those are them popping up. But there are only 2 of them that you need to actually either run into or kill. So that first one I ran into at the very first area is faster. I timed it years ago, I think, where it's technically faster to by like literal frames just to kill that second one. But if I'm feeling lazy, I just run into him. We're going down, and you notice, yep, that we've been traveling through Vinculum Gate this whole time. That Coliseum there. Yep, and we finally got into the center. So here we finally get to meet Matsukin. And chat, I think it's safe to say I think I want to. We're gonna let Matsukin live here. I'm feeling in a good mood. How about you? We had a good run.
Okay. Yeah.
Good things happening.
It's been a good run. Let's go ahead and finish it off happy.
Yeah. So there is the choice here. It does not affect the run whatsoever, and that's why I didn't want to emphasize it, because it doesn't affect the run. Like, say, it's not like Super Metroid, where it's slightly, you have to go slightly out of your way, and then you see something different in the ending. It's like, nope, I just want, I didn't want to mislead the audience that way. So we're back in the trailer, and hey, there's a basement to our trailer. Who knew?
That makes sense.
Okay, and we're coming after Tingle or something. Stay back, aim. Okay, we just killed Tingle. If I were to let the cutscene play, that would be quite a twist, who he really is.
More reasons to pick up the game.
Exactly. And third credit sequence here. Yeah, how many games have 3 credits? This one is PC version is. So we have one final input after this, and it'll be a little familiar, but this is the real victory. To me, it's like the first credits, somber, but here it's like you can just rock out a bit.
Yeah.
And
That's always good.
Here's another fun fact for you with the soundtrack. So there's this band called Ride. It's very significant to Suda 51. You can even see him with like band T-shirts of that. And they have a piece of music called none other than Grasshopper. And for this game, Suda 51 went to Masafumi Takada, the composer, being like, okay, so we can't use Grasshopper in our game. Can you make something that's really close to it without us getting sued? And this is what happened. Like, once you hear Grasshopper by Ride, it just instantly Killer7.
Oh, that's all. That's I guess awesome, but also not. It's just like, I guess trying to hire Weird Al to write a song based off of.
Okay, well, this is the last input. This scene looks familiar, and 3, 2, 1, time.
Nice.
And here we go. We didn't watch the scene before, but this is what happened at the end of Angel. Except now we are in Shanghai.
You're awake from your
And again, I'll leave that up to you to determine why that is.
All it does is turn.
All right. Well, thank you. Well, we're going to take a small break while we get things up to watch a couple glitches, just for a little bit to showcase what really kind of fun and unique things can happen about this. But while we get things set up, it's a great time to get up, stretch, get some more water, use the restroom, all of that. And hey, if you missed this run, don't worry. It's going to be on our YouTube. You just head on over to youtube.com/GamesDoneQuick. And of course, while you're there, be sure to press the like button on that video and subscribe to the channel. Also, head on over to, if you're watching us on YouTube, head on over to twitch.tv/GamesDoneQuick to watch our live shows. We'll be back here in just a minute for a quick glitch expedition of what this game can really do. Alrighty, and welcome back to the Bargain Bin. Before we get to this little glitch expedition, I do want to say real fast that your subs, Prime Gaming subs, gift subs, and bits cheered on the GDQ Twitch channel to help support the GamesDoneQuick Hotfix. So if you enjoy watching all of these daily speedruns that we do all the time, consider subscribing to the channel, of course. And of course, now let's go ahead and throw it back to Adrian to showcase some wonderful glitches and joyous things that you can see in this game.
All right, thank you very much. So Killer7 is on rails. We can only do so much, but this area has some weird properties to it. This is Encounter 1. This is the plaza. Let me just see if I can dodge all these guys. It's whatever. So there are some weird properties to this area, so let me come up here, up the stairs. There we go. So enemies are spawning in. This guy normally spawns in. He's slowly going to creep at us. Are you worried, chat? Because I'm not worried, because he will disappear. So one of the strange properties of this area, this area is, I'm not sure what's up. There are a lot of different enemy types in this area. And not only that, there are different, levels to this area. Not all enemies are really programmed to be around stairs. And you can even see that, there are no enemies right there either. There were enemies over there, and they all disappeared. And we are just on the edge of the stairs here, where this guy will just keep, disappearing. And because we're technically not killing him, he's just going to keep respawning, but only this guy for some reason. And I will show you why I mean by just this guy. So let me kill him here. And first let me show you. No enemies. I don't see any guys. Oh, hey, there's a guy over there. They just spawned in.
What?
Yes, there's something weird about the stairs and levels. So since we killed that enemy, he no longer shows up. So I'm going to reset the room really quickly. So this will give him a slightly different spawn. Still works, though. He will now spawn to our right. And this one I actually like to spawn better because it's a little shorter. So he respawns, or rather he despawns, then respawns. A lot faster. And again, nothing down there.
I like how his armor is also a PlayStation controller.
Yeah, this is the Protector Z smile. Yeah, I like his boots. So I'm gonna, okay, one more time. Okay, I'm gonna kill him. Just so we don't have to deal with that. So I made sure to have Kaede awakened here. This is something I actually discovered not long ago. It's very curious. But like I said, we are actually on multiple levels here. And there's another level on the other side. And enemies do spawn on the other side. And you can see them from here, because we are on the same level. And I did not realize, you have no reason to look out into the distance here, but nope, there's the Protector, the regular Protector. He's over there, and we can even get his attention. And he will respawn. It's not quite the same. He won't keep walking towards us unless we shoot him. Probably because you weren't meant to be, shooting him from this far. So I'm going to go to the other side and do the same. I'm going to tank some enemies. They'll look a little nasty. Let me gonna kill you. Wait, where are you? There you are. Okay.
Oh, all right.
Let me just...
Also, I just not realized, is she not wearing any shoes?
Oh, yep, she is not wearing any shoes.
Oh my...
Iwazaru, our sort of player helper character, calls her barefoot for obvious reasons. You can find some very very obscure early artwork that shows her with heels, and it's very surreal. And you saw right there, that enemy, I didn't have the chance to respond to it, but that enemy just disappeared. But for some reason, this guy does not respawn like the other guy. I don't know why. Going down. For some reason, once he disappears, he's gone.
Huh, that's interesting. I guess until you reload the room.
And he disappeared when I was on the stairs, because I went too far down. And, oh, wait, I'm at a bad angle here. Oh, he did respawn. Oh, right, sorry. This is something, like I said, this is fairly newish to me. But, he will respawn if you get closer to the door. Okay, here, I'm gonna do some, oh, darn it, menu. I'm gonna kill this guy, and then... But I have another actual glitch. These are just, fun little oddities here. I will point out that this guy, you can still see the guy over there. I'm going to do a little bit of swapping here. Just need to shoot him so he's not, you know, in our face. So you can see, yep, there's where the other protector was, other side. I can shoot him. And this one, for some reason, he doesn't seem to despawn. He just seems to be walking in place.
Oh, I see. Okay.
Until a little later. Like, he must be that, his spawn point must be that far away, but the other ones took so much shorter of a time to respawn. And I guess this guy has a walk. I guess, I don't know, it's a little hard to tell, admittedly. I couldn't quite tell where he was relative to that.
Mm-hmm.
Here, wait. Okay, I will show off the glitch. Let me wait for him. Let me scan him. Ooh. Let me see if I can shoot him his mask, and then I will show off a real glitch.
Adios.
Yep. Thank you, Simna, for that suggestion. Okay, so for just my sake, I want to turn into Han here. So I will require reloading this room if I don't get it. So let me see if I can get it. Nope. So this is pause glitch, hence why I am pausing. If I can just get it here. There we go, second try, just like in practice. So I am
Nice.
I am in the pause menu, and I am moving. I can even turn around. I can reload.
Oh.
I have 26 vials of blood, which is not the glitch. That's just a version difference I didn't point out earlier. But yeah, I can move, and I can even go into first person. But there is a catch here. So notice the view I'm at now, if you can see through the pause menu. So I'm going to go into first person. But you can see it's not a real first person. All it is just zooming in on the third person camera.
Oh, that's it. Oh, that's interesting.
But once I reload, you can see I'm shooting. It's seemingly aiming at that spot. Once I reload, it will actually properly function with real first person aiming. It's so I can do this. Why would I do this? Because I can.
Interesting. I like that.
And then let me just show that again. So you can see once again first person, and I can't. Mind you, it's frozen here. I can't actually change anything until I reload. So
right.
So you can see I'm changing the analog, moving with the analog stick. Until I reload, I can do that manually. Oh, that threw me off. And I can even
Dangerous.
do that. I can even use my special abilities.
Huh.
So there's not too much else here. This can be used in a speed run. It's really more of a it's like a backup strat. It has some technical use as a backup strat, mostly in Killer 8. And unpausing it causes it to deactivate. If you turn into another character, it deactivates, obviously. Let me try to get it again. And I came across this glitch years ago before I even started recording or streaming. And I don't know how. I must have been just like so lucky to figure out something this obscure. Like, what was I doing to get this to work? So it doesn't have to be from this door. It can be from most of the doors in this area. This plaza has like, what is it? 1, 2, 3, 4 doors. These upper doors give you a little bit more room to move. There we go.
Now, I noticed earlier that someone in chat said they patched out a lot of stuff. Like, I guess the question is, because I guess, was there a reason why this wasn't, like, that type of stuff wasn't patched out?
I missed that, but they actually didn't really patch anything out. Like, this was on the GameCube version. Like, pretty much anything you can do on the GameCube version can be done on PC. Maybe they're referring to PS2, because PS2 it's quite different. It feels like a different game half the time. It's very, very strange. There we go, Mach Speed. But yeah, this game is, like I said, this is one of the most spot-on remasters I have ever played. And there you go. And once you unpause, enemies will start respawning in, and you can do this from that door, from that door. So So yeah, not the biggest glitches, but you know what? Those are pretty neat small oddities I've come across. I don't know what's up with this area, but yeah, just it had some strange properties. I think it's the multiple levels. It's a big area with a lot of different enemies. But there you go. That was pause glitch and some encounter 1 shenanigans.
That's cool.
And with that, here I'm gonna give you all a rave on, and we're not playing Hopper 7, but. Yeah, I think that's it for me. Yeah.
All right.
Oh. So yeah, thank you for having me, Midnight Vesper, for the bargain bin. This game is $20 on Steam. It goes for, I think, even as low as $5 on sales quite a bit of the time. It's like I said, this is an impeccable remaster. It's 98% perfect. If you're interested in speedrunning this game at all, we have the Suda51 speedrun Discord. A lot of people are here in chat, you know, supporting it. We're a small but very very determined community. And yeah, I'd like to thank the community in general. I'd like to thank Nick Liria, one of the earliest runners, Simna, Nate, BB, Yamanaro. Who haven't I mentioned? That's like, you know who you are. You know who you are. Yeah, so yeah. Thank you all. This game is one of my favorites. I'd say this game and along with No More Heroes back to back for me. It more or less changed my life. They are foundational works of art to me. So
They are, yes. And if anyone was interested in following you, I know you gave them if anyone was interested in following you, where would they head off to?
Oh, well, I stream like usually twice a week, depending on my schedule, on Twitch TV/AdrianVG. I also have a Twitter account, which is AdrianVG1_, because I couldn't get AdrianVG. And yeah, I don't have my own Discord, but if you're in the Suda51 speedrun Discord, even if you don't speedrun, even if you just want to hang out and just, see what others are doing, yeah, we don't mind that either. We're pretty cool.
All right. Well, thank you very much. Any other, I know you gave some shout outs, I gave anything like that. Anything else you want to say at the last second here?
Play Killer7, kill the past.
All right, well, that's going to do it for us here at the Bargain Bin. Thank you so much. It's been really fun today, but we're not done here on twitch.tv/GamesDoneQuick. Coming up here in a little bit is going to be Express Lane. Great games coming up here, so you do not want to you want to stay tuned for all of that. But also keep in mind, we got Awesome GamesDoneQuick 2024 coming to us January 14th to 21st in Pittsburgh, PA. And of course, prize submissions for that are going to be live right now for Awesome GamesDoneQuick 2024. If you are a crafty or have a unique gaming prize that you would like to submit, just head on over to GamesDoneQuick.com for more information. Submissions for the prizes close on January 1st. And we're going to take a small break where we get things set for Express Lane. It's going to be a great show, so do not miss that as well. Like I said, we'll see you all next week, we'll see you all in 2 weeks. For those that are going to be celebrating, happy holidays, and we will see you all in 2024. All right, peace.